On March 9th, 2015, on the Houston Ship Channel, the Conti Peridot, a bulk carrier, was inbound, while the Carla Maersk, a chemical tanker, was outbound. Visibility had been good before both vessels got underway. However, around 12:30 in the afternoon, the vessels collided just south of Morgan's Point. Welcome to episode 12. Today we'll be continuing on with section 2, conduct of vessels in sight of one another, taking a look at rule 14, which is head-on situations. I also have a special guest who will be joining us to review the incident after the rules review. So rule 14, which is the head-on situations. Part A will be different for inland and international. Part B and C will be the same. Part D is inland only. So, international A. When two power-driven vessels are meeting on reciprocal or nearly reciprocal courses so as to involve risk of collision, each shall alter her course to starboard so that each shall pass on the port side of the other. Inland A. Unless otherwise agreed, when two power-driven vessels are meeting on reciprocal or nearly reciprocal courses so as to involve risk of collision, each shall alter her course to starboard, so that each shall pass on the port side of the other. Both international and inland. B. Such a situation shall be deemed to exist when a vessel sees the other ahead or nearly ahead, and by night she could see the masthead lights of the other in a line or nearly in a line, and or both side lights, and by day she observes the corresponding aspect of the other vessel. C. When a vessel is in any doubt as to whether such a situation exists, she shall assume that it does exist and act accordingly. D. Inland only. Notwithstanding paragraph A of this rule, a power-driven vessel operating on the Great Lakes, Western rivers, or waters specified by the Secretary, and proceeding downbound with the following current, shall have the right-of-way over an upbound vessel, shall propose the manner of passage, and shall initiate the maneuvering signals prescribed by Rule 34A, Part 1, as appropriate. Part B establishes the downward priority on Great Lakes, Western rivers, or waters specified by the Secretary. This doesn't just say that the downward vessel with the following current has the right-of-way over upbound vessels. It also establishes responsibility in that they have to be the one to propose that manner of passage and initiate the whistle signals. So now the corresponding whistle signal for this rule. In Rule 34, international. So 34A, when vessels are in sight of one another, a power-driven vessel underway, when maneuvering is authorized or required by these rules, shall indicate that maneuver by the following signals on her whistle. 1 short blast to mean I am altering my course to starboard, 2 short blasts to mean I am altering my course to port, and 3 short blasts to mean I am operating with stern propulsion. The inland side, A. When power-driven vessels are in sight of one another and meeting or crossing at a distance within half a mile of each other, each vessel underway, when maneuvering as authorized or required by these rules, 1. Shall indicate that maneuver by the following signals on her whistle. 1 short blast to mean I intend to leave you on my port side, 2 short blasts to mean I intend to leave you on my starboard side, and 3 short blasts to mean I am operating stern propulsion. 2. Upon hearing the 1 or 2 blast signal of the other vessel, shall, if in agreement, sound the same whistle signal and take the steps necessary to effect a safe passing. If, however, from any cause, the vessel doubts the safety of the proposed maneuver, she shall sound the danger signal specified in paragraph D of this rule, and each vessel shall take appropriate precautionary action until a safe passing agreement is made. So the international rules establish as a minimum standard being in sight of one another to initiate whistle signals. However, on the inland side, not only do you have to be in sight of one another, you also have to be within 1/2 mile to have the requirement met for making whistle signals. If you're meeting outside of that, then you don't have to worry about it. Earlier, I had the chance to sit down via remote connection with Captain Lindsay Price to discuss the Carla Maersk and Conti Peridot incident. And with me, I have Captain Lindsay Price. Captain Price, if you would, tell us a little bit about your experience and what it is you do.
Okay, well, I went to SUNY Maritime, graduated in 2007 with my third mate unlimited license and a degree in marine environmental sciences. I moved to Houston, Texas right after graduation, and I started working on harbor tugs. And I've been working on harbor tugs ever since. I was the first female officer employed at the company. I was the first female promoted to captain, and now I'm one of the senior captains at the company. I help with training. I'm a designated examiner. I help bring out new vessels and new construction. So that's, yeah, captain, ship assist captain in Houston, Texas.
Outstanding. It's great. That's great. So now in Houston, there's these rumors of this game that ships will play. It's kind of informally called Texas Chicken. Can you explain what that is and why something like that needs to happen, in particular in the Houston Ship Channel?
Sure. So in the Houston Ship Channel is a very narrow channel that goes up Galveston Bay. And because of the way that the channel is, the narrowness of it, when ships go up, they have what's called bank effect and bank cushion effect. So the bank effect is as the ship goes up the channel, the bow gets pushed off the side of the bank, gets pushed towards the center. So when the ships run up the channel, they have to run the center line of the channel. Now, what happens when two ships meet? They can't meet in the center of the channel. So they call this maneuver the Texas Chicken. And what happens is the two ships are head-on situation. And then at the last minute, they both break, generally to starboard for a port-to-port passage. It has happened the other way, but generally they break to starboard. And then that bow cushion off of each ship pushes each other away. As they pass, the stern suction brings their sterns back together. And by the time they are clear of each other, they're back in the center of the channel.
So pretty much like a magnet, you can, I guess, visualize the bow of the ship as the positive, the stern as the negative, and they kind of just push on each other.
Correct. And because of the shallowness of the Houston Ship Channel and the muddy bottom that we have, that also is pushing. So you have two effects. You have the effect of the channel, and then you have the effect of the other ship, which is why the other ship has to break to starboard as well, so that they push each other away from each other, and then that magnet brings them back together in the center of the channel.
Gotcha. Otherwise, they'd just catch a bank suction and they would just kind of drag them. Basically, their stern would stay dragging along that side of the channel.
Correct.
Which we've seen, especially as ships make that turn at Bayport, usually heading outbounds where it's real bad. Sometimes they'll catch that suction at Bayport and then they can't break it in time.
Yes, because the Bayport in the Houston Ship Channel is another side channel that breaks off of that channel, and a lot of times there's shoaling that happens right there at that point.
So there was an incident. 2015? Oh, was it 15? Okay, 2015 with the involving the Carla Maersk and
the Conti Peridot.
Conti Peridot. Just south of Morgan's Point.
Correct. Yeah, just south of Morgan's Point. So these vessels one was outbound. The Peridot, I believe, was outbound, and they were traveling in reduced visibility. Now, when both pilots boarded these ships, it was not reduced visibility, because in the Houston Ship Channel, when it's foggy, they generally close the channel. But if you're on a ship that's already underway, there's not really much that you can do. They have to bring it out to sea or bring it to its berth. So these ships started when it was clear. But in Houston, the fog comes in quick. And that's what happened here. So they were outbound and had already met 2 ships in the upper Houston Ship Channel by Baytown. No problems. And then the Peridot was inbound. The pilot on board the Peridot had been having some rudder issues, some steering issues coming up. But there was not a lot of communication between the pilot and the master. Well, as the visibility started to reduce and as he kept meeting more and more ships, they got to a point around Morgan's Point where these 2 ships were going to meet, and the rudder failed on the Conti. And the result was the collision of the Carla Maersk and the Conti because he was not able to gain control of his bulker. So what happened was a huge collision that caused $8.2 million of damage in the ships.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, the Carla was struck on her port side as she was starting to make her maneuver.
Yeah.
She was maneuvering to do the Texas Chicken, but like you said, if one vessel doesn't break, the maneuver doesn't work. They don't have that cushion to work off.
Right. They have to break at the same degrees or the same distance, which is a half-mile distance, for the maneuver to work. And because of the reduced visibility, they couldn't see each other. And with the steering failure as well that the Conti had.
And I'm guessing that steering issue was not relayed to the Carla Maersk pilot on the Carla at all, was it?
No. It was specifically that ship, not the Maersk ship, the Conti.
The Conti was never. They didn't get to relay that information to the vessels that they were meeting.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, and with the NTSB, they found there wasn't good bridge resource management. The pilot and the captain weren't talking. They both knew that there was an issue, but they never spoke about it.
Well, I appreciate you coming on. This has definitely been a great experience. I think we're going to try to get you on a little later on, in the series if possible. I know that we're going to be bringing some other folks on as time goes on with doing these types of discussions. And we appreciate all the time you've taken. Be safe out there. Again, thanks for coming out.
Yes, thanks. Thank you. It was very fun.
Tune in this Friday at 0900 Eastern Time to have the full interview between myself and Captain Lindsay Price. Question of the week. Last week's question and answer, international and inland. What does the day shape of a triangle with her apex down mean? Since nobody got the correct answer this week, we're going to leave it up for one more week. Please remember to include it in your comments below. Next week, we'll take a look at Rule 15, crossing situations. Again, remember to tune in this Friday at 0900 Eastern Daylight Time for my full interview with Captain Lindsay Price. If you happen to know of anybody who would benefit or appreciate these videos, please share it with them. And as always, please remember to click like, subscribe, and please stay safe out there, everyone. Thanks and have a great one.